Hello. Okay, let's wait for everyone to come in. Okay, I think that we can start. So, for today, uh, should be pretty straightforward. So, first we'll have a quick update on Alibaba, just on the implications of the restructuring, and then I believe we can pass it to Teamspring, and then to I think go through BYD for current holdings, and then that should be the end for what we're holding right now. And then I think we also have one sharing from Teamspring as well. Yeah, but Olivia, you can start anytime.
Okay. Let me share the screen. Uh,
Yep, we can see it.
Okay. Oh, can you see that? Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Hmm? Wait. Why I can't see that?
Oh, it's gone now.
Wait.
Okay, it's back. It's
I'm
back.
not that
Don't
familiar
worry.
with that. Oh no. How about now? Is that okay?
No, it's gone back to like the browser view, but it works. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, good. We firstly got to review the current performance of the Ali. Like for the last years, the total revenue is almost around 87 billion RMB, and year-on-year growth is around only 2%, while mainly caused because of the very strict COVID policy in last year. But if compared with the period before the COVID, in the 2019, the growth is around around 70%. Yeah, the net profit is has a year-on-year growth around 40%. I think the main reason is because the job cutting, so reduce lots of like experience. So they have a quite a high net profit growth in the last year and the 2 years ago, and the main revenue was contributed by the China e-commerce. Still the China e-commerce, and the second is generated from the like the cloud service, and the third one is the Cainiao. I think Cainiao Logistic Group will have a huge potential in the future of the Alice development, and I will talk more later. And like in the last year, only the e-commerce got the profit, and the other 5 business group all experienced the losses, but the loss have the significant narrowed. So I think it's a good insight, because they gradually develop very well, and will have a chance to get the profit in the future. Well, for this year, it's obvious the very huge decision they did is the splitting strategy, and in the 28th of March, Ali, they decided to split their business into 6 different segments, like the Ali Cloud and the domestic e-commerce and international e-commerce and Cainiao Logistic and other 2 segments. Well, basically for this strategy, I think we can think about the previous splitting case, like Google. They also did the same splitting strategy in 2015, and I think we can see some perspectives through this through the group Google's splitting. Like we can through this 3 perspective. Like first, when Google did the splitting, like they could focusing on their main business, and like due to the different subsidiaries, they are in a kind of different stage, the development stage, and also they in a different industry, or maybe they have to face the different markets. So after the splitting or the restructuring, so they could adapt the differentiated operating strategy, so will be more helpful to develop their different business in different industry. And the second, I think, after the splitting, like different subsidiary, they are allowed to get into the capital market, so they could financing independently, which they will get the capital to support their research and the development activities, and also will bridging the funding gap, and also could reduce the dependency on the parent company for funding. So, and the third perspective, I think, like, it will helpful for the company when they did the splitting for restructuring the valuation system, like because the each of the subsidiary company, like they are emerging investment business, so usually they will with the significant losses, which will has a huge negative effect of the whole company's valuation. So after the splitting, like they will as an independent group in the market, and after the splitting, like they will also disclose more their activities. For example, the investment activity. So which means they could like restructuring the valuation, which will helpful for the whole company's profit, I think. Yeah. So for this strategy, like what will happen? What kind of effect for the Alibaba? I think they will have this 6 effect. For the first one, I think it will like enhance the company's efficiency, because if restructuring, like they will reduce the whole group's intervention, and also will reducing the like kind of complicated internal hierarchy structure and also reducing the complicated decision making process. So it can increase the efficiency for the operating of each of the segment. And the second, I think, well, for the Ali group, mainly cash flow was generated from the e-commerce. So other segments are all experience loss, which felt like if they did this splitting strategy and the e-commerce segment will be evaluated the pressure from this, so they could focusing on their own business in this competitive market. So yeah, it will be helpful for their whole profit. And the third effect, I think, like the capital market, because they have already allowed getting to the capital market, so they could financing, have already mentioned before. And the fourth thing, I'm not super sure, but I think it has a problem because it has a possibility because a different industry will have a kind of different tax rules. So after this splitting into different segment, maybe they could benefit from this to reducing the tax expenses. So yeah, and the last one, I think, like after this splitting into different segments, they are kind of more flexible to face the market change or the like risk compared to as a whole enterprise. Yeah. So this is the thinking about the splitting strategy, and the last part is gonna to talk about some 菜鸟. And I think we ignore this part because we've put more attention on the Alibaba's e-commerce and the cloud digital development, but ignore his layout on the logistic. Why I think 菜鸟 is important? Because the 菜鸟s are increasing on their revenue. Like for example, they have a very super huge increase on the revenue through the 2019 to this year to last year. I mean, and second reason, because of China's policy, super support the company to go to the abroad to develop and like expansion globally. And the third reason is because like China is a kind of a huge like trading exporting country, so they will have a huge demand of the logistic. And the fourth reason, because I think that in domestic e-commerce market, like the increasing has already reached the saturation. So if they want to seek a new growth opportunity, they need to do the globally expansion. So if they like when the e-commerce do the expansion global in abroad, like they not only need to compete with the diversified goods, but also they need to compete with the good customer service, which means like the logistics service, like, deliver the goods to the customers is also important. So I think the logistic will be a very key point when they doing the global expansion. Well, for the 菜鸟 logistic, firstly, I think, yeah, they did the layout in globally in this 4 different steps. Like firstly, they established the chain of the original, deliver the goods from the original to the transit warehouse, and also purchase the establish the transportation, and also like made the like a connection with the local local export institution, and the last one is to localize. Like for example, the building some delivery box. People can get some fixed place to get their goods. It will be more efficiency. Yeah. So this is their layout, and they started from the 2015. Yeah. So if considered its competitors, there is two, I think. The first one is Shunfeng, SF Express, and the JD, but they are in a kind of different layout strategy. Like Shunfeng, they mainly rely on the heavy asset investment, like they build their own airline routes, Avalion, and so this is definitely a good advantages for them, but also have the disadvantages because the cost is super high. So it brings the challenge for them to get the profit. And for GD, also they're focusing on the heavy asset investment, and they kind of to acquire lots of overseas warehouse like in domestic market. So it's also will increase their like expenses, for example, the labor or the rent or the maintenance in the future. Yeah, but Cainiao is kind of different in this way because Cainiao like adapt the combination of the light investment and the heavy asset investment. For the heavy asset, like they purchase the hubs and also the center distribution centers and the warehouse, and also establish their flight system. Yeah, for the light asset, they building mainly focusing on the fourth stage mentioned before, like for the picking point and lockers, and also get the relationship with the airports airline to increasing their speed. Yeah, and for the fifth, this is I think that can be called the competition mode, like because uh Cainiao has a very high intelligent technology on their infrastructure system, and also focusing on the special layout strategy, especially can be mentioned is the AliExpress, which is the kind of can be called the international Taobao. Yeah, so it will support lots of demand for the Cainiao to delivery to continue this business in abroad. Yes, and last one is I'm not sure whether this can be called the ESG consideration, but Cainiao's expansion strategy is to kind of wanted to got the win-win relationship. So Cainiao also helped the foreign delivery company to build their infrastructure system with the high intelligence like technology. Yeah, so this is my thinking. Yeah, this is finished, I think.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so I think just one question from me. I think moving ahead, so we've sort of kind of built more of an understanding on Cainiao, and then logistically, so what's gonna happen is that once the IPO starts popping up, we will is it that we will get some sort of like we will they'll how does it work? Like, is it something like will automatically acquire like ownership in, like, for example, I think the one that's about to
Yes.
take off the most. Yes, right. Okay. Um in that case, do you think it's necessary if we conduct separate models for like so because like in the past, I think when we did the valuation, we had to take into account this entirely different financial structure, and um a lot of our I guess like cash flow considerations, it might have been different. I think is it better? Do you think especially like this goes out to the Ali team and also others, do you think it would be necessary if we Oh, I'm so sorry. There's just an insect. But yeah, is that a good idea? What do you guys think?
I think we should wait to see what will happen
Mhm.
in a few months because now it's really really unpredictable.
Right. Okay. So I think from our previous discussion was that it's kind of an awkward time to buy more, right? So it might make more sense to wait. That's the consensus. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, thank you. That was really, really detailed. It was very clear as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is the file shared with us, like everybody? I think just as a like organization kind of tip to everybody, I think we can try and make use of it's called Z Research or something. Like all of your memos are in the wiki, but I think the wiki is a special place. Like I think you can either slot any like new stuff that we write just in case other teams want to look at it there, or you can plop it in I think Z Research. I will look back on it as well. I think I'm not super clear how the files are organized. But yeah, thank you so much. I think we can move on to Javier, just a quick update on BRT.
Wait, so can I just ask like some questions
Oh
first?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
like my 2 cents on the Cainiao thing. I mean, usually what happens like after a spin-off is that the spun off company stock will drop first. Reason being like people like there's some level of uncertainty with the new company. Previously there won't be like the same level of disclosures as the parent company. So people wouldn't want to hold on to that stock. At least like it seems like usually it's the first month or so. So like my recommendation is that once the IPOs, we just sell first, and then we will conduct the separate analysis. So like separate models and stuff. Like I think confirm will need to have, or like whether we want to even like pursue that company or not can be like a whole different matter. But uh, I think that we don't need to hold that for like at least the first 1-2 months. Yeah, that's the general trend. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay then.
Yeah.
And just a quick update on BYD. It's just like a one slide thing. So okay, BYD is a stock that we bought around March. Since then the stock is up 26%. Just now when he showed the P&L, he said 12%, which I don't know why. I went to look at the chart again. Should be 26, but if we look at like the Hang Seng, which is the China benchmark, is down 3.6, which means that we outperformed the market by 30%, which is I think that's pretty good, like considering the current environment. Uh, quick update on delivery numbers. They sold 250K cars in June worldwide, which is up 5.3% month to month. In the first half of 2023, they sold 1.3 million, which is double from a year ago. And in terms of the competitive dynamics, which I think would be the more like key thing to note here, Tesla has been like called out for like slashing prices. So like year to date, they have slashed the China prices for their Model 3 by 14%, and the Model Y is 10%. BYD also engaged in this price war. They cut their BYD Seal, which is the most popular car, by 10% in May. So you know the conversation was around like who was gonna win this price war. And I think the numbers have shown that in Q2 BYD sold 600K, Tesla only sold 247K, and this is in China. So if we look at the incremental market share gain, BYD has outperformed Tesla by more than 2 times. So I think that's quite reassuring for us. And like I think in this industry, or at least in the price point that BYD is playing at, market share is quite important because on average, each guy is only gonna have like one car, right? Whoever buys, like for entry level cars, nobody's gonna buy like two because they just need it for utility. So market share is very important. We need to capture like every incremental customer. So the fact that they're capturing like 2 times more, in terms of like car sales, I think is quite good. So and adds to the existing conviction. So yeah, that's just a quick update. Over to Eugene.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, hi guys. Let me try to share screen first. Okay, yeah. Can you guys see? Yeah, because I can't see you guys right now. Is this the? Are you guys seeing the whole thing?
It starts from macro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, the macro was just something. Okay, I can't see you guys right now. First time I'm using the share screen feature, but yeah. Okay, mine isn't. Mine I'm sharing on Costco. Yeah. So I think this is the research that I did. I think it's not as technical as the Alibaba one, but I think just something interesting that I came across. Yeah, because I was just looking at subscription-based business models, and I think that was something. This is something that caught my eye, and I think it's in compared to its peers, I think there isn't much like competitors in the sense of like different companies, and yeah, mainly yeah. So sharing what I have found. So I think a bit. What I did out of the macro, so just a bit of research on my part because I think generally because of so I just to share more. Maybe I can tell you guys more about the company first before I go into a bit of the macro. So I think for Costco, right, is the world's largest retailer. So I think something unique about it is that it engages in membership warehouses in US and worldwide. So it has about 850 locations. Yeah, and also it also runs an e-commerce website. So I think what's unique about it is that you only can buy stuff from Costco if you're a member. So I think the membership fees will range between $60 and $120. I think depending on the type of membership that you want to get. So yeah, I think as of 2022, it has about 120 million members. So it operates not just a branded, also their private label products, so their own unique products that they have that they try to improve upon those. They try to improve upon and also sell it at a cheaper price. So I think okay, now I'll just continue first. So I think some highlights would be that Costco is continuously opening new warehouses, and I think they're trying to expand beyond just the US, which actually is their main area of operations, US and Canada. So yeah, net sales from 2022 to 2020, net sales increased across the years. But I think the recent earnings for Q3 that was released in May, I think they missed earnings by about 15%. I think mainly because of the fact that because of bearish macro news or bearish macro, these big ticket items that Costco also sells are not being purchased as much. Yeah, that is the main factor affecting the earnings. Yeah, and looking at the business segments, I think mainly broken down into three parts. Mainly the merchandise sales volume. So what do they sell? Making about 90% from the stock keeping units, which I'll get into in a bit. Membership fees, which is about 2%, but that makes up most of its net income. And e-commerce sales taking up about 7% of the net sales. Yeah, I think looking at the broader picture through the industry overview, I think global retail is set to grow about a CAGR of about 5.53%. Yeah, all the way to 2026. And I think looking at how the industry has been sort of affected since COVID, I think traditional growth drivers include like your standard economic growth, franchising, and yeah, your retail financing options. But I think post-COVID, I think really a bit one of the big changing factors is tech, where people are starting to sell things on e-commerce and also cost reduction, which Costco is also doing quite well through streamlining of their supply chain distribution. I think this is really enabled by the low stock keeping units that we talk about in a bit. Yeah, I think one other factor, looking at their generally in the industry, I think costs have been increasing in managing inventories. Yeah, and also additionally advertising expenditure. But for Costco, it does not spend on advertising because of its own unique business model where you relies on membership, yeah, and word of mouth. So if you're already paying a membership, you'll definitely go and spend there, and you wouldn't need any additional advertising. You don't need to put any money into advertising. Yeah, I think looking at Costco, I think why it's so unique is because people are constantly going back and they're able to keep their market share and also their customer base. So worldwide renewal rate is around 90%, with that in the US at around 93%. So actually, even though it is a retailer, most of its products carry no profit. So most of the money is coming in from the membership. Yeah, membership fees. And yeah, looking at Costco, it has also generated strong revenue growth with the top line increasing 12.52% CAGR from 2018 to 2022. Yeah, at the same time, looking at how it gets its products, I think its bargaining position is actually quite unique, or rather cannot be really compared because, yeah, again, because most of its revenue is coming, their proposition is to really sell items at low cost and as low as possible against their competition. Yeah, so they are able to negotiate with their suppliers to get as low a cost as possible. And yeah, that ties in together with stock keeping units. I think look at this chart here. I think compared to some of its key competitors like Walmart, yeah, its stock keeping units is a lot lower. I think what stock keeping units means really the different types of products that they have. So looking at this picture, it just shows you how much less inventory problems they has to manage compared to the other competitors. And this actually helps to lower costs, yeah, compared to what the other companies are doing. Yeah, and so this is just something unique about Costco that, yeah, cannot really be replicated. Yeah, and I think the next one, the next thing that I think really makes it, that really incentivizes me is that it's our expansion in the global market. Yeah, other than its concentration in US and also Canada, I think it's really expanding with 23 new warehouses in 2023. Yeah, and 10 outside of the US. So I think one of the countries that they're penetrating is also into China, where they see it as a meaningful international growth driver. Yes, and why they are spending outwards is because the growth in the international markets is a lot higher than that than in US and Canada. According to the report that I read, the number of membership signups in internationally is, I think, 10 times as much as within US. Yeah. So I think that's really what the next step they're going towards. I think e-commerce, they are penetrating as well, but it is not outperforming as well as they are expecting it to do because of the margins that they get is not as high from e-commerce, from what I understand. Yeah, I think also the third point, I think really looking at a retail warehouse company, right? I think it's important to look at certain ratios to see how they actually manage their whole the company itself. So I think looking at all this debt to equity, their interest coverage, return on assets ratio, I think they really outperform the industry average. And yeah, it just shows you like how management does well to actually maintain these different categories. Yeah, so just and including RE as well. Yeah, I think moving on to competitors, I think one thing that I like to see also when I look at companies is like, why not invest in its competitors, right? I think two of its main competitors with similar business model, right, is Walmart's Sam's Club, so and BJ's Wholesale Club. So these are the ones that also operate with a membership-based model. Yeah, whereas versus your standard Walmart or Target, they are just your normal retailers. So I think BJ is rather has a small market share, and yeah, Sam's Club does not have. Why it would be different is because Sam's Club focuses on the day-to-day items, whereas Costco expands into bigger ticket items like your furniture. They sell gas as well, and also all the bigger ticket items. Yeah. So looking at some risk, I think one thing would be definitely limited product selection. I think this is in line with its stock keeping units that is lower than its competitors. But I think this is really intended. And I think Costco's target group is the upper middle class, which are attracted by the cheaper price and deals. And these people are willing to spend, compared to, let's say, your lower class. And another thing would be your digitalization. Shoppers or in the younger generation are spending more time, or they prefer to have a quick shopping experience and do online shopping. Yeah, and Costco is actually trying to address that, but I don't see that as a meaningful or something that is substantial in the short term. Yeah, and I think looking at valuation, since I looked at it, it has actually jumped up by about $30 to $40, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, since the day I did a valuation a couple weeks back. Yeah, it was $520, and I think as of yesterday it was $560. So I think a few things to look at. So this is definitely not one of the companies that will have like crazy growth, but rather this is something that will have substantial and reliable growth in the next for the foreseeable future. So I think looking at its PE, I think it's relatively high, but compared to its historical average. So but I believe that given that it is unique, given its business model and the points mentioned above, if you were to use a a PE of 35 to 40, and yeah, and the earnings APS growth of 16.7% CAGR looking at the past 3 years. Then we will get implied share price about $580. So I think looking at this from the current price is about 557.8. Yeah, so I think that upside is lesser than that 11%. And I think going back to the top of this would be the macro. I think I mentioned the earnings missing by 15% in the May report. I think that was really because of on the back of bearish macro sentiment. And yeah, I think looking at what happened in June, I think inflation was down to 3%. Versus 4.1 and 4.9 in the previous 2 months. So yeah, I think it's still above 2% target, but yeah, it's still a move towards the right direction, I guess. And yeah, rate hike seems to be potentially reaching its peak. So I think this might translate to also how do I put this? Yeah, the bearishness is easing, I would say. Yeah, and that's why I would think that perhaps this might also support this stock. But at the same time, I was just talking to JV. I think the effects of hikes, he was just saying that it will be felt in like a year or so. So then we will have to see how it plays out in the next 1 year. I think this would affect generally across everything. But looking at Costco, I think given that it is consumer I think people will still have to buy retail, they have to shop. So I guess this would still be generally quite stable looking at what has happened through COVID. And generally looking at through what has gone through COVID. That's what I have to share.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. That was actually, I've never looked at this space before, and I've actually never seen a Costco. I know some of you, if you like visit the States or you have exchange there, maybe you've gone and seen it. There's actually one in Shanghai, but I haven't been able to go before. But actually just like two quick questions. I think one, so if I'm understanding it correctly, the idea is that most of the growth is going to come from expansion and possibly expansion overseas, because that's a less saturated market for Costco, correct?
Yes, not just expansion within the US, but also international expansion.
Right, and then so you don't foresee that a lot of it is going to be from. My understanding is that because most of their products are like zero margin, and then like the whole idea is that they offer the cheaper product and that you save more by paying for the membership than going somewhere else. So how much do you foresee that membership fees will be adjusted?
If I'm not wrong, based on what I see, I think membership fees was they change it once every 5 years, and I think the last one was quite a while ago. I think maybe like 3-4 years ago. So potentially that might be adjusted, but there's not something that they change like a year-to-year kind of basis.
Okay, do they disclose like what goes into that decision, or is that more of a corporate?
Good question. I'm not sure about that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Another question is, do you have a general idea of like their growth, like the speed of their growth in their overseas chains? Because I think this membership retail thing is quite interesting, but I'm not sure if every culture has the same receptiveness to it. Because because I think what Chinese consumers value is that as long as there's a place that's cheaper, they will ditch. Like, I think it's very hard for them to kind of imagine paying for a membership just to shop somewhere. Yeah, so I'm not sure how strong this is. This is just a general like thing that I think most Chinese consumers haven't seen yet, also because there's only one chain there. But it's just interesting to kind of see if they have taken any special efforts to market themselves, or like in different, especially like based on where they are targeting right now, whether there's going to be any difficulty, if any, like trying to kind of educate consumers on this kind of more interesting, more never seen before model. Maybe I'm not sure how much there has been, how much information or how much you've come across about something like this?
Yeah, I think that was something that I also thought of as the first, because I think the culture in, let's say, US and China, I think I came across this other product recently. I think it was more on like the packaging of products. Like in the US, people would buy things in bulk and then they can store it because of sometimes how far they stay away from these warehouses or shop or retail outlets. Whereas in Asian countries, right, I think maybe for China, right, I think because of how close everything is, they don't have to buy things in bulk and they buy whenever they need. And so I think one thing Costco does is also like people like to buy in bulk because I think they sell things in when they wrap and they sell things, they sell it in bigger portions as well.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, so I not too sure how it go into an Asian market, but I think when I was reading up on when they were penetrating into other countries, retail outlets generally don't have a good track record. I think Target also failed. I think in like 2017 when they tried to expand internationally, but when they were going into European countries, I think if I'm not wrong, I can't remember exactly the country, but yeah, it was quite well received and subscription was like a lot higher even before the store was even open. But yeah, I think it's definitely important to also look at this whether they are doing anything different when they are trying to attract or appeal to the China market.
Okay, yeah, that's super interesting. Yeah, okay, yeah, thanks for answering my questions. Does anybody else have questions for Eugene?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Just it's not a question actually. Yeah, please carry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So it's not a question, but I would, I would suggest pay skeptical attention to international expansion, right? Because there are few companies, right? Only they do kind of globalization things in a good way. For example, like, I have seen many companies, right? So many businesses where their strategy would be working in the local market, but not necessarily in the expansion strategy, right? So it's very important to understand whether the management has the operational execution in the overseas market as well. So, for example, even in India as well, there is a company called Walmart. Sorry, there is a company called I forgot the name, but it's a beautiful company. But they are really good at doing Costco, Walmart doing their own country. So it'll be definitely a tough for them to Costco for them to beat it in India markets. So I think Eugene, there is one thing, pay skeptical attention to the international expansion. So that's, I'm not sure how efficiently Costco would be able to pull off.
Okay, I understand. Thanks for bringing that up.
Just a quick clarification, right? This membership is it for discounts or must you have the membership to shop there in the first place?
Membership to shop there.
Right. So what's so special about the place that I'm willing to pay a membership?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, they would save more money by getting the membership if they were to spend versus like actually they can't even shop there or versus let's say compared to other retailers.
Okay.
So they would sell the products at almost cost price to what they can acquire them. Yeah, and just be able to in a sense lowball their competitors and all the basically lowball their competitors and make revenue solely from the membership fees.
And how much of their profits currently are from the membership?
Give me a second.
And they've been operating on this.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries. They've been operating on this membership model since inception.
Yes.
Okay. Then in terms of like supermarket, are they considered a supermarket in the first place? But I want to know about like market share in whatever industry or sector they're in.
Yeah. So whether it's considered a supermarket, if it's not a supermarket, then what would it be?
I mean, I don't know, like furniture store, departmental store.
Yeah, because they operate warehouses in that sense. So whether it be considered a supermarket.
Never mind, that's not important. Like, what about their market share their market share in the departmental store space?
Yeah, I think looking at in the whole space, I did not really look it up, but I was mainly looking at these main competitors, lah. But yeah. So you're talking about like versus
Wait,
like things like
Costco
Target.
is. So, wait, so this market share is in terms of what?
In terms of those that are
Or the membership only?
in the membership
Oh,
model.
right.
Yes, I was
'Cause
trying
I
to.
just wanna
Mm.
I just want to see if like people are actually going there to buy furniture and like, yeah.
Yeah, versus and not just
Um,
looking at those that in the what do you call that, membership base, but in general versus the whole
Actually, their revenue from the furniture is not important because it doesn't generate profit, but people need to be going there. So it's kind of like a loss leader model, right? Like they make losses or they make no profit on the furniture, then they make money from membership. But
yeah.
yeah. Then for this membership, are there like multiple tiers?
Yeah,
Or
so
is
I
it
think
just one
there's
thing?
two main tiers. One is a gold, if I'm not wrong, they call it gold class, and one is executive. One is $60 and another one is $120. I think they get yeah, I only really know there's two main membership fees, and I didn't really look into the breakdown
Okay.
of what they do.
But the basically upper tier you get more like discount, is it? Oh,
Yes, that's what I think so.
okay. Then so maybe I missed this, but you talk about the e-commerce growth.
Yes, I think they acquired a e-commerce arm a few years back, but I don't think it's very substantial, and I think it's not contributing much to the growth as it is, because from what I was reading, the margin that they get from it is not it's actually, I think, lower than what they sell at the retail stores.
But if I'm not wrong, everyone can use their e-commerce platform, right? But but you must have the membership for the physical place. Is that right?
That I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Okay, but yeah, I can look into that.
I did like a Google search. I think that's the case, lah.
So everyone is able to.
Yeah, I think they said that the e-commerce one, like anyone can just go shop there. So if that's the case, right, does their e-commerce business like cannibalize the existing business? Because if I can just buy online, then why would I pay the membership again? Okay, that depends if they're selling the same items, but do you know if they are? And if they are, then that could mean some cannibalization.
Okay, no, I don't know about that, but I think that's something to look into. Yeah, but yeah, that could potentially be something that could be killing themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. And also like their products, even in store versus like Taobao or Alibaba, is it like really that much cheaper or? Yeah, I'll pay attention to those.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for the China market, the biggest competitors are still like Tuango and like for example, I get all my groceries in 30 minutes from like the nearest dissemination station. And then it's like they also have a subscription basis, but it's not for everybody. So you can still buy, like anybody can buy, but if you are a member, they give you like free vegetables every day. Stuff like that.
What?
Yeah, like my roommate always gives me the free vegetable she gets. And then there's also stuff that like special discounts for them. So I think the biggest competition for like China is just that the geography is different. Like you don't have to drive 30 minutes just to get like broccoli. Like you can wait 30 minutes just from like an app. So yeah, that's probably the biggest competitor. Like just kind of like community, like very like down into the community kind of distribution, and just everything in China is on
hyper local.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and then wait, sorry. Then the last thing on their inventory, right? What's the reason they are able to have like lower SKUs? Like stop being
I think it's just how they choose it to be. So instead of getting like perhaps 5 different types of what do you call that? Different types of, for example, milk. They just they reduce it to just one.
No, but
And-
stock keeping units is not the number of types. It's just like how many units of products stock keeping unit. So like I got 10 shirts, whether it's like 2 brands or 1 brand, it's still 10 shirts. Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically lower inventory on hand. So like I'm just wondering if it's to do with their supply chain stuff, like they're just better at it. And like how difficult is it to replicate for their competitors? Yeah.
Okay. Understand where you're coming from.
Also, does this stock pay dividends? I would think so.
Yes.
What's the
Yeah.
dividend yield?
Dividend yield is I think 0.73.
Oh. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think yeah. Thanks for bringing up the questions, and yeah, we'll look into it further into.
Yeah, I think
a
there's a
little-
lot of stuff you can explore.
Well,
Yeah, I also have
may
some.
I say something about the
Oh yeah, go
the
ahead.
membership? Yeah. Because I live in Los Angeles and I do have this kind of membership card. Well, like the membership, well, I don't think that the company should count this kind of the membership revenue. Firstly, like people who get this kind of card, how can I say that? I mean, like for this card, you can get the refund from it. You can like just return this card to the Costco, and they can give you the refund just before the deadline. So, like, Costco just use this kind of membership to attract the customers and to like earn some revenues. By the way, like Americans like just like to go to the Costco's to buy a bunch of stuff when they like to move their house and they need something, they will just go to the Costco, and Costco has a bunch of like competitors like Ross, and what's the name? And Target and other grocery stores. I mean, I don't think the Costco can sustain its growth because like the membership revenue cannot be sustained, and it has aggressive competition with others. Okay, that's just my opinion.
So this membership is very easily cancelled or refunded.
Yes, that's true.
And you
Like
get
for example,
back the
Mhm.
full amount that you paid for the membership,
yes, that's
even
true.
if you already used it for something.
Yes,
What? So wait, so anyone can cancel?
yes, everyone can cancel it. Like you can use this membership to get some cashback to buy something cheaper. If you buy a bunch of things, you can earn some profits from it. But if you do not buy enough things, right? You can go to the front desk and say that I do not want the Costco card anymore, and there is still 1 month before the deadline, so I just want to cancel it, and then you can get the refund.
So if I'm moving house now, I can just buy this Costco card, then buy whatever I need, and then the next day I return the card and get back my full
Yes,
refund.
that's true.
What? That's a stupid model, man.
Yes, that's true. So they just use this kind of membership to attract the customers. That's it. And people like me will like forget to like return this card and pay something there.
Okay, so they're making money off people who forget to cancel the card, which is basically like
Yeah.
a gym membership.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
gym
yeah.
membership model.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
So-
why I do not think that we should count the membership revenue, because the membership revenue either offset by the decreasing price of the products, or people like me who forget to return this kind of cars?
Interesting. But their stock is
Since-
still like up and to the right.
What's stopping? Yeah, but that's a good point. Right? But what's stopping people from? I mean, cannot be everyone forget to return. I mean, if they can just pull this off every time, then what's? Yeah, probably. Yeah, cannot be just
And they
everyone.
mostly sell furniture, right?
What do you mean mostly?
It's mostly furniture. Like, as in, like, what kind of stuff are they selling?
What?
Groceries, furniture. I think groceries, food, and sundries make
Oh,
up like
groceries.
70 to 80% of their revenue.
Okay. Okay.
I have a
Mm.
question actually. Like you mentioned, they're doing the expansion. Like Swing work through the what way? Like franchising or directly to open a direct sales store?
I believe it's the direct stores. I don't
Direct.
think it's
Oh.
franchising.
Yeah, if they're doing the franchising, maybe you should consider the commission portion, and also like the cost to open the initial investment, like the renting or the furniture listing, and also for the storeholder when they join this brand, is there any limited period for them to get the profit?
Okay, understand.
Yeah, that's my question. Okay.
I have a sense that this stock will be quite correlated with like housing starts, because I mean there's the people who are gonna buy furniture and stuff. As in, like, it's mostly like household stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, never mind. Just a thought.
Okay.
But cool.
Okay. Yeah, thanks everybody for asking questions. I think there's a lot of stuff that you can look at. I think especially if you're still interested, I can ask some of my friends who are crazy about Costco. And then hopefully I can try and see what the whole like consumer attitude is towards that. But yeah, yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff that you can add to the report that we
Okay.
discussed today. Yeah, and then could you also just share this with us in like can like just maybe make a full and then I think when you make a new edit you can try it and make a V2 file. Does that make sense? Like and then you edit the V2 file, something like
Yeah,
that.
understand. Which
Okay.
folder?
Let me take a quick look.
Sure.
Okay, so there's shared spaces and then there's wiki, but shared spaces seems like a better place. Okay, I see that there's a Z research under. Okay, can you put it under Z.research under shared spaces?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Then whenever like you're done, you can also just like oh okay I updated something, like anybody interested can go look and then we can go inside and see. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks so much, Lou. Yeah. Okay. It's gone for quite long today. This is probably the longest meeting we've ever had. But yeah, that's it for today. In your teams, let's see. Keep adhering to whatever you have planned in your teams, and then PMs, I'm going to try very hard to meet you all this month. I think last month it didn't really work out, but hopefully August I can have a check-in with you guys about 1 or 2 weeks from now, just to see if you all need help with anything. But yeah, keep up the good work, and then kind of look out for any of the events coming up. I think if you especially have some free time coming up, it would be great if you guys can like get to know the new juniors. I think what Shinya said about like meeting people that not being someone that you know for a long time, or maybe someone that's very important in life later on. I think that's very true. So don't think of it as just something that you're doing like out of like kindness or just as a volunteering thing. It's also a great way for you guys to meet people yeah, and I think we have a very interesting batch of students this time. So if you do have time, yeah, I think I will try very hard to set up any opportunities for you to meet them, or like for you guys just to pop in during the meeting. But yeah, if you have any ideas also, like just let me know. But yeah, that's all for today. Yeah, thank you everybody for coming, and we'll see all of you next month. Bye bye.
Bye
Thanks.
bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you. Bye bye.